Battlefield here, and I thought that maybe since now that I'm done with the campaign for World War II, I might just give you guys like my thoughts and opinions and a brief review of the campaign and just what I think of multiplayer and zombies so far as a whole. So the campaign, this has got to be one of the best campaigns to grace a Call of Duty game, and for a long while actually. While Infinite Warfare's campaign was honestly a pretty good character-driven one, the futuristic aspect of it was probably a turn-off for a lot of people, considering how much hate it spawned over just a simple reveal trailer. The characters in it have a lot more personality and are actually pretty complex. I mean, you get like a bunch of character development in like the beginning cinematic of D-Day alone, which was more than what I could say for the entirety of the campaigns for Black Ops 3, Advanced Warfare even. Like, I enjoyed Advanced Warfare, but I felt like this was a huge step up from the characterization of like Private Mitchell in Advanced Warfare in comparison to Private Daniels here in World War II and his squad. Now, I'm not going to cover too much of the story in this video, considering I have the entirety of the campaign up on YouTube. So if you want to see what I mean for yourself, there's a playlist I have all put together for all the campaign levels. Okay, so next biggest thing here in multiplayer is the fact of like how much they have built upon this. They've added in like their own little social space, which has a ton of stuff to do, like the shooting range, which was a key staple from Advanced Warfare, made its way back into World War II and is part of the staging area social space, which is honestly akin to the tower from Destiny, especially when you like check the bounty board for like Major Howard and you have all these challenges you can do to get all sorts of free equipment just by completing challenges, like capture 10 points in domination gives you 250 armory credits you can put towards anything, or win a match at Team Deathmatch, you get a supply drop. And the rate of like how you actually get stuff is something similar to Modern Warfare Remastered when it comes to supply drops. Even the system itself is very reminiscent of Modern Warfare Remastered, where you can unlock certain things into a certain category to unlock something big, like the Hell on Wheels collection here, which was an epic version of like a US Army tank uniform, and so on and so forth. You can get weapon kits, pistol grip skins, emotes, and other uniforms and other types of like calling cards and whatnot. And also, the one thing that I do find relatively funny when looking at like some of these weapon designs, like for the Rookie, or what was the one, or like the Roundabout, like this tiny little ass gun, it's just absolutely ridiculous with its little like drawstring strap here, which honestly I think would be like it'd be ridiculous to start running through the battlefield with this equipped, but I think it'd also be like a really, really huge slap on the face if you got killed by such a tiny pea shooter. Now, that's not to say this game isn't without its faults. And the first fault being that this had a bit of a rocky launch. At like 11 p.m., when this game dropped, I had this pre-downloaded on my PS4, and I was waiting eagerly to play this. And as soon as the game launched, everybody tried to funnel in to get in to play this game, and crashed the entire servers. Not just the entire servers of World War II, but of Modern Warfare Remastered, Ghosts, Advanced Warfare, and so on and so forth. Every single server for a Call of Duty game went down, and Sledgehammer was working around the clock to make sure that they could get the servers back up, which they did, but it still had some slight server issues, which made people kind of frustrated. Honestly, though, in regards to, like, the whole server issue and whatnot, I wasn't really expecting, like, near perfection, but at the same time, I'm not gonna be like one of those people that are crying foul over something that's like not perfect on day one, because honestly, people who complain about like Call of Duty games not having like steady enough servers and whatnot, while that should be something that I think should have been taken care of and something that should have been known, and something that they probably should have stress tested in the beta before they made the launch, but what do I know? Either way, they're bringing it back up, and they're working around the clock, tweaking up weapons and guns, and segueing it over to weapons and guns. Most of what I have to say about weapons is that they feel gripes and complaints, specifically 44, which is, I don't want to say it's overpowered, but I'm definitely seeing it a lot in kill feeds and kill cams, and it seems like it's kind of like one of those guns that is dominating the playing field along with the Russian PPSH. Now, the STG is, like, I can understand for, like, a fully automatic assault rifle, but this is kind of feeling a little bit similar to the NV4 in Infinite Warfare when that game first launched, which funny enough, when the Infinite Warfare beta was out, the NV4 was possibly the most underwhelming gun in the game, and then people said, like, hey, the NV4 is kind of underwhelming, and then here it is dominating most of the kill feeds with NV4 fallouts, flatline, and so on and so forth. But since then, when people were like voicing their concerns about the STG and the PPSH, the Sledgehammer, the developers, Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield, they worked and they were tweaking up so they feel a little bit more right and balanced. And I think was pretty underpacking was the Bren light machine gun, which is supposedly the highest rated damage in the SMG category. However, a light machine gun category. However, it felt like it was lacking the bite and punch that it so desperately needed because of its 8 damage and 8 range, that it wasn't exactly dropping people quick. I had much more better luck with the Lewis gun and the MG15 rather than the Bren light machine gun. But I'm hoping with the nerf, or the buff, sorry, that we can see more of this being used because of that high damage rate. And they also did some buffs with the Luftwaffe drilling and the sawed-off shotgun, having a little bit more of a damage boost to it. The multiplayer maps are, while there's like few maps for like Operation Breakout, Operation Griffin, feel like a welcome addition. War is definitely one of those game modes that Call of Duty so desperately needed for feeling fresh and new. Like, it doesn't matter about like your kills or your deaths. All it matters is helping protect the objective or to take an objective for destroying things. And with the other baseline standard issued maps, you have 9 maps for your TDMs, your dominations, and your search and destroys. I noticed a lot of people were complaining about there being 9 maps, but at the same time, going into these maps actually feel good. Like, they actually feel like they are well made, well designed, and just kind of fun and aesthetically pleasing to look at than just like shoehorning like 15 of the like worst maps ever made. Quality over quantity, I say. Now, Zombies this go-around is a bit of an interesting blend. You have the mixture of the original Zombies mode, where it's like you survive wave after wave after wave of zombies, but you also have gameplay elements taken from Infinity Ward's Extinction Game Mode, which was brought to us in Call of Duty Ghosts, which honestly was still probably one of the high points of Ghosts, in my own opinion, where you are given an objective, and within the game, it'll show like a notebook option where it's like, okay, these are the things you've collected, this is your objective, this is what you have to go do, now go do it. And you are partied up with 4 other people who have loadout kits, which are basically like your ultimate abilities and like other perks you can bring in with you to battle other zombies, which you can like change up your equipment, like your grenades, your primary weapons, and you can also modify these loadouts too, so you can carry like 3 guns, 5 perks, or take no explosive damage. Stuff that makes you like what is comfortable with your playstyle and what you like to experiment with when it comes to making sure that you can survive like many waves as you possibly can. One of the returning features from the previous Call of Duty games for zombies, from like Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 3, is the weapon build kits, which let you customize your guns so you can bring like some attachments in to better your chances of survival. However, comparing the 2 games between Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 3 to this, using the weapon repeatedly is not going to give you like a level weapon upgrade skill, where it's like, okay, you reach level 2 of the 1911, you get the quick draw thing. You reach level 6 of snipers, you get FMJ. No, the attachments are actually locked behind your rank. So the more you rank up, the more attachments you can unlock for your guns. So it's like you reach level 18, you get FMJs for all your guns that you can put onto them to increase your weapon damage. There's a slight change up though with the weapon build kits. Normally you can bring about, I want to say, 6 attachments into a zombie game for both Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare Zombies. This you can only bring in 4 attachments, so it kind of helps make it kind of varied up a little bit, so it's not like too overpowered or too easy for you. And speaking of easy difficulty, completing the Easter egg on this was actually a relatively easy but challenging slog to get through. It still was a fun process to like do all the objectives together and like figure and solve it out to get to the final boss. And I don't necessarily know if this was intentional or if they were just kind of like hyping it up, saying like, oh, this is going to be difficult. But honestly, I think that with how it is as a whole right now, with the Final Reich, I think you have a good open area for newer players to come join in the zombie experience so that they can get themselves familiarized with everything, get themselves comfortable, and basically try to get themselves immersed into the storyline of World War II zombies here, because so far the storyline of World War II zombies is an interesting one, where you have this guy Dr. Straub playing fucking Frankenstein, creating zombies using these things, this energy called the Geistkraft, which powers up the little battery pack that most of your 4 characters have, which give you your perks and abilities and your modifications for your ultimate abilities. And you have like 4 ultimate abilities you can choose from: Frontline, Free Fire, Shell Shock, and Camouflage. Camouflage is pretty self-explanatory. Free Fire is limited infinite ammo. Shell Shock is basically something to give you a little extra breathing room, and Frontline is basically you ringing the dinner bell on the zombies saying, hey, come and eat. And mods, you can unlock these through things called Raven Research Tokens, which you get for leveling up throughout the game. There's prestiging in this. I don't necessarily know what the benefit of prestiging is just quite yet, but I'll get back to you on that one. And so your 4 characters are in this that you can choose to play as are Jefferson Potts, who's played by Ving Rhames. Most people remember him as Marcellus Wallace from Pulp Fiction. You have Elodie Young, who plays a woman named Olivia, who is known, well, at least I know her from the Netflix show Daredevil. You also have Drosten Hind, who's played by David Tennant. Most people know who David Tennant is. He was in Doctor Who, Jessica Jones, and most notably, and most recent of all, Scrooge McDuck in DuckTales. And he actually brings the heavy Scottish accent for this too, so just picture him saying stuff as Scrooge McDuck. And you also have Catherine Winnick playing a character named Marie Fisher, who is a key character for the Final Reich, to which you can learn a little bit more about her backstory, along with why she's there, why she's trying to rescue her brother, and trying to find this relic artifact, which is the hilt of a sword, which is the MacGuffin for zombies. I'm also guessing we're getting those pieces through other zombie maps, too. Another thing, too, before I forget, is in the Final Reich, you have, well, frankly, you have, like, a lot of stuff you can, like, find and look around for, but what also you can find in the game are, like, little, like, electro-punk, steampunk, PDA-looking things, which gives you extra, like, video files, recordings, so you can get inside the mind of the big bad for zombies, Dr. Straub, who's played by Udo Kier, which of course they got Udo Kier to play, because when you need a mad Nazi scientist, what better man than Udo Kier? And you also have audio files which help kind of set the stage for the Final Reich, where the audio files are left by Klaus Fischer, who is Marie Fisher's brother, the character Catherine Winnick plays, who goes into this town of Middleburg to look for her brother. Think of it kind of as a World War II version of Resident Evil 2, except it does not have a happy ending for the siblings. So yeah, spoiler on that. Like, my overall thoughts of the campaign is I recommend this game immensely for the campaign alone. Zombies, I'm looking forward to seeing what all is being brought into it in later content.
Quiet is good. Let's hope it stays that way.
Multiplayer just feels so right. I would say I would give this game about a 4 out of 5. It's almost damn near perfect, but it needs some more fixes before it's completely great. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed any more of like this World War II content, just let me know down in the comments, and I can bring up more content, more little factoids and updates for things if you guys so want. Oh shit. I'll see you guys over in the next video.